Hey, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're watching this from. It is Tuesday, and I am live here inside of Social Connector to do our daily live training. Really excited about today. We do this every Monday through Thursday, a new live training for you to experience. If you have questions, you can always put them in the comments, as well as these are recorded and be posted to our YouTube channel, your premium training locations, as well as right here in our Social Connector Facebook group. So excited to have you all on today. Today, we are going to talk about one of the most important, I believe, the most important things that you'll ever use inside the Social Connector dashboard as it relates to connecting with people. Today, we're going to talk about automations, specifically how to set up an SMS campaign automation. So the way we're going to do that inside of Social Connectors, we're actually going to we're inside the dashboard right now, the Launchpad. So here's our dashboard. And this is just a demo account. So all the names you might see today, just be aware, these are all demonstrations. They're not real people. So I'm not giving away any information. So inside of automation, we're going to begin to talk to you about how do we utilize workflows? How do we create them? What do they do? And you'll see I've got a couple of them here in our demo account. These are just practices, but we are going to dive right in. So the way you get to automations, if you want to follow along with me, is you just go down your left-hand side into automation. From here, you can automate all kinds of things. But as we all know, one of the greatest things we can do is connect with people via SMS through text messaging. And we've got some amazing trainers in here who offer awesome content. I don't train the content. I'm going to show you how to make your content work inside of Social Connector. So we're going to use some fake content today as we build this. Just know that this is just one thing we can do in our automation workflows. And you'll hear me intertwine this language a lot, workflow and automation, because they are very, they're one and the same. So if I say workflow, I'm talking about an automation. If I say automation, I'm probably talking about a workflow. So we jump inside of automation and we're just going to click create workflow. From here, you'll see that there's a lot of things that are already built for us, which is really nice. There is entire, follow-up campaigns that are built for us and all types of things you can do. Depending on if you're using the lead connector phone number that we provide for you with Social Connector, or if you're using Project Broadcast, some of these may not apply. We're going to start from scratch because you're going to see how easy these are to really create. So I'm just going to click continue next to start from scratch. Okay, and that's going to bring us inside of our workflow here. And I'm going to label this workflow. I like to start by labeling workflows. You're going to notice that I do a lot of things where I repetitively save. I just think it's really important. So we're going to do SMS. Actually, for all of us, we'll just do text campaign. Now, why would you use a text campaign? This is really something you could use in all types of ways. Maybe you have a certain an onboarding system that you're going to run. Someone who buys a product and you want to follow up and see how they're doing with their product or your service that you offer. Maybe you're running a challenge and you say, hey, let me know if you want to be a part of this challenge. So whatever reasons you are, this is just anytime you want to send out a series of messages to an individual or to a group of individuals, but a series of messages around a central theme. All right. So every campaign is going to need a trigger. What is going to be the thing that's going to cause people to enter that campaign? I'm going to tell you that if you'll get really good at utilizing tagging, then you can use tags as a great way. And that's what we're going to do today. It's a very basic way, but we can use tags as a great way to insert someone into a campaign. Now, we can use keywords as well. We can use replies. That's going to be for another training because today we're going to teach you just the basics of how to build your workflow so you start to understand it. So we're going to create this trigger and we're going to say when a contact tag, we're just going to have the word tag, when a contact tag is applied. When someone is given a tag, I want these things to start to happen. And we're going to use, I'm going to name this. So this is going to be test, right? So this is just the name that I'm giving to the trigger. This is nothing here. It's just gonna be test. Now we're going to click add a filter. And this one's going to be when a tag is added. You can also trigger things to happen when a tag is removed, but we're going to trigger it when a tag is added. So we're going to click tag is added. Okay. And then we have to tell it which tag we want to use. Now for our situation, we don't have one that's built yet. You don't have to. That's the beauty of this. You don't have to. You can actually create it right here. So we're going to call this test, because this is just an example of what we're doing. So test. click add new tag. So whenever test is added to an individual, that individual, it will trigger this particular workflow text campaign. Okay, now we're going to save. And you'll notice it changed right here. It now says test. We can do a lot of things. We can actually add a different trigger. You can have multiple triggers to cause the same thing to happen. How cool is that? All right. So you could set up another trigger and you could say when someone replies with a keyword or when they fill out a certain form. You can use forms inside of Social Connector. And if they fill out a form, you will automatically start this campaign. Some of us have been using different tools like Zapier or Pabbly Connect in order to make these things happen. You don't have to do that anymore in Social Connector. This is true, by the way, everything I'm showing you right now, everything you do here, if you're using your project broadcast number, it will work with your project broadcast number as well. So you do not have to recreate the wheel. You don't need a Google form. You don't need a Jot form or any of those things. You don't need Zapier. You don't need Pabbly. They will all work right inside here. So we could technically, let's just show you what I mean by that. We could come and say when a form is submitted, okay, and I'll just see if there's a form in here that I've already created. So when we tell it which form it is, let's just say in this one, it's our Linktree form that we just created. So when the Linktree form, which is a form that's inside of my demo account, is submitted, start this workflow. How awesome is that? So we're not going to do that today, but just showing you that's how triggers work. So whenever a trigger is triggered, now we tell it what we want to do. Okay. So let's go ahead. What the next step is to create actions. And you're going to find when I click the plus button, there are so many actions, so many, and we're adding to them all the time. I do want to let you know as it relates to actions. And when I do an entire workflow training, and I'll go through each of these, I'll help you understand even better. The yellow ones here at the top are considered premium actions. That means they do come with a cost. So your $10 a month credit will go towards these. They're very, very low in cost. Sometimes it's like a penny. And so these are premium, but they're really powerful ones. You'll notice we have ChatGPT. We can actually get ChatGPT to respond to text messages for us now. It's phenomenal. So, but here's all the different actions that we can have happen when somebody triggers our workflow. For today, there's two actions we're going to use. We're going to use the wait action and we're going to use the SMS action. All right. So first, we're going to start with the wait action. And I like to do this whenever I create a workflow that is going to be involving text messaging. And the reason for that is I want to make things feel natural. So let's say that this was a form that was filled out and the form triggered it. They filled out my Linktree form and it triggered this automation to start sending them text messages. I feel like it's really unnatural to get a text immediately. So I like to wait for a couple minutes. So we're going to choose wait. Inside of wait, you have a time delay. You have an event, or if they have an appointment they've set with you, you can set a delay. You can also do some of these. You can wait for certain things to happen before they get the next thing. For us, for this, we're keeping it simple. We're going to use a time delay. We're just going to wait for, let's say, for 2 minutes. We're going to wait for 2 minutes. Now, we can also set an advanced setup here. I could say it waits for 2 minutes, but it has to be a Monday through Friday because I don't want people to think I work on the weekends, right? So I can turn off my Sunday and my Saturday and have it be Monday to Friday. I can also say wait for 2 minutes, but only between 9 and 5 p.m., 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. And the reason for that is I want to honor people when I'm sending them messages. So I could come in and tag somebody, because this is going to start with, if I tag everybody with test, but if it's not Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., it's going to wait until that is satisfied. In other words, until it is one of these things are true. And when these things are true, it will then start the workflow, which is kind of nice. We're not going to do that today. We're just going to wait 2 minutes. Okay, click save the action. We can always label it too. So this is going to be our wait 2 minutes. So it can remind us what we did. So let's save the action. See how it says wait 2 minutes now. We've got our first step is that we're waiting 2 minutes. Now we've waited 2 minutes. We want to send our first message. And we don't know what test is. Let's assume that test is that they've joined a challenge that I'm doing. And it's a 5-day challenge. So let's create the message for day number 1. So we're going to send a message. So I'm just going to search SMS, send SMS. Okay. You'll notice back there, let me show you that real quick. I don't want you to miss it. You're going to notice that when I clicked SMS, there's actually 2 types of SMS. There's send SMS, which is automatic. And then there's manual SMS, which will actually create the message in this person's contact information, but it will wait for you to hit the send button. So maybe there's things that you don't want it to do automatically, but it will wait for you. It'll be sitting there in their conversation and you have to hit send. So we're going to do SMS here. And we can use templates that we've created, all right, which we'll talk about templates in another training, but you can use templates that you've created, or you can just type your message right here and we can insert all the custom values that we have, all the things that are unique to this person. All right, so let's just say we want to say, welcome to the challenge, welcome to day 1 of our challenge, but we want it to be personal, right? So let's insert their first name. So we're going to say contact first name. You'll notice I can insert all kinds of information. I am not limited. I can insert information that they filled out in their form. I can insert all kinds of information here, but we're just going to do first name. Okay, welcome to the challenge first name, and I'm going to do exclamation mark, and then I'm going to say, we are so excited for what's to come. All right. Now we could also add an attachment if we wanted to. So we could add a picture or maybe a link to something. We can do that right here if we wanted to do that. Okay. We're not going to do that here. Click save action. You can also test it, by the way. But click save action. Now, maybe I don't like this name. I probably would change it. So I'll change the action name and I'm going to call it day 1 text message. Because again, as we build these, we want to remember what things we said they were going to be. So we click day 1 text message. Now we want to wait because it's not day 1 anymore. So now we want to wait till the next day. So we need to add a delay. So we're going to add a wait in here and it's going to be, everything is based on the last action that just happened. So if I want to wait 1 day, I'm going to click here. I'm going to click wait. And then I'm going to tell it, this is going to be our title for this action for, remember, is wait 1 day. That's just a reminder for us. And it's a time delay. So we're going to do wait 1 day. Okay. And maybe in this time, let's go ahead and do it. We'll do it every day of the week, but let's make sure that it's in this window from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. just in case we added this late and we don't want people to get it late. So we click save. Now we have a wait 1 day. And you know what, for this one, let's go ahead and add we're going to add an original one here. So let's go SMS. Okay. And then we're just going to type, it's day 2. Let's go first name. And then you could also do something like this. I would love to connect more with you. And you could insert a link, right? And so you have 2 different options of links. We're going to talk about trigger links at a different time, but you have 2 different options of links that you could use. One of those is just to type in the link. The other is to have a trigger link. You might have heard of this in other places that would be more of a trackable link. So we can create trigger links that if someone clicks those inside of our message, then we can actually create other automations, things that will happen because they did that. So it's pretty cool. So you could also add a link there, a trigger link. So we're not going to do that today, but it's just, we'd love to connect more with you as you're going through this challenge, right? I'm just showing you how to do it. You have to create the content. I'm just showing you how to build it. So now I'm going to show you this next step, which I think is really great. So we know that every single one of these is going to be a wait. And you know what? Let's change this to day 2 text. Okay, we know that every single one of this is going to be a wait for you. So we're going to, why do we need to create the same thing over and over again? We don't. So we're going to wait 1 day every time. So all we have to do is we're going to click on the 3 dots next to this. We're going to click copy the action. You could actually copy all the actions from here. So we have these 2 things, right? So watch this. We'll just start with copying the action. I'll just show you that. So copy 1 action. And then you just click where you want to copy it to. So it's here. We're just going to copy it to here. And now you'll see we have a wait 1 day. We have a wait 1 day, and they both are going to do the exact same thing. And then we're going to, let's say we want to use this template. So we're going to click here and we're going to copy the action. Okay. And we're going to click here and we're going to just copy it to here. Now all we have to do is come in, click it. It's ready to go. And now we're going to call this day 3 text. And we would change this information. And we would put all of our details in there and click save. And then maybe we go, you know what? Why don't we just do this? We could actually copy the action, copy all actions from here, and we're going to move them to here. Now look, we have both things are in, and all we have to do is change this to day 4 and day 4, and we click save. Amazing, right? This is so easy, you guys. So we go through, let's do it one more time. We're going to copy all the actions from here. Okay. We're going to change this to day 5. And something I haven't been doing that you really need to be doing. Day 5. Click save. You should always save your changes. Now look, we have all of our messages ready to go, waiting one day. This is very simple, but you could go through, you can see how this works. It's so easy to make. Then all we have to do, we can actually test the workflow. Now we don't have anybody to test it with that's real. So why don't we go through and let's do this. Let's create a contact. Okay, we're gonna create a contact here. So we're gonna leave this area back out here. Let's go to our contacts. Let's create a contact. And let's just say this is John Doe. And we're going to do a phone number. Okay. Click save. All right. And then we're going to come in here back to our automations. Here's our text campaign. We're going to open it up and we're going to test this workflow. We're going to do it with John Doe. So we're just going to look for John Doe. Okay, there he is. We're going to run the test. Now, what's really cool about running our test is we can actually look at the status, and you'll notice right here, it tells us that John Doe is waiting for 2 minutes. Okay, so he's waiting. And if we look, we'll see there's John Doe. He's sitting there waiting for us. All right. How cool. Like it's ready to go. We can wait. Now, if we don't want to sit here and wait every day, that's not a problem. I'm going to show you, I'm getting something ready for you guys right now. Okay. So if we don't want to sit here and wait, we can actually just click on this here. You can do this even with a live one, and we can tell it, let's move all these people forward. Let's force the next step. So now what will happen is John Doe is going to be forced into the next step. Now, I don't think I'm connected to a phone number here, but let's just see here. Oh, let's see if it didn't push him forward. Let's force it again here. It could be because I don't have a phone number connected, but let's just see. Go to actions. Yep, it's because my phone numbers. So if I had a phone number connected, which I don't have because this is a demo account, it would actually move him forward, and he would then get sent a message. So that's a way you can test these. You just come through and test it. Once we've tested it, and like I said, I'm sorry I didn't set that up to have a phone number ready to go. Once we've tested it, there's a lot of other things that we would want to make sure are ready. So there's a couple things you want to look at. First is settings. So this would be time window. Is there any time that this cannot work, that you wouldn't want this workflow to go? So you can specifically restrict it. Like you can't add someone to this workflow on a Sunday or Saturday. Same thing with our delays, right? So you could restrict it. We're not going to do that here. How do you want it to treat time zones? So you could have it treat it based on the contact's time zone. So basically they're going to get their messages on their time zone, not on yours, which is a really powerful tool. I love that. And then next thing would be contact management. Do you want to let people enter this workflow, this automation, more than once? Defaulted, they can only go once. Once they're in it, they can't be added to it. It's done. You can't add someone to a workflow they're already in. You take them out, put them back in. So we're going to say, like, let's turn it on all the time. Stop on response would be like if they reply to this workflow, if they get a message and they reply back, do you want it to no longer continue with the workflow? Let's let it stop. And conversation management would be along the same thing. It's marking everything as read. So messages that go out should be just marked as read so that you don't fill up your conversations tab. I would highly recommend that. That's a good one to have for things you're doing texting. And then you don't need to worry about this one. That does not matter. Click save. History is going to show you everything that's been working on. Oh, look at that. It's showing us now that it's trying to work. It doesn't actually execute them. And that's what it was holding up before, but you'll see he's waiting now. But it would show us here, it's not going to actually execute it because I don't have a phone number attached. But in here, if I click on any any message that's going out, whether this is an email, a text message, I can see the statistics and see who it got delivered to and did they click on anything in it and all that information. You can see it right here and you'll know who's actually gotten this part of the workflow. Okay. So history shows us what's actually happened and I can click on any of these areas to learn the details of that. And then status is where is anybody at this given moment in the workflow. As we can see, John Doe is waiting until one day has delayed for him to get the next message. All right. So the last thing you would want to do is you want to turn this to publish. You want to click save. And now you're ready to go. We could come out here. Let's go ahead and remove him from the workflow. Okay. I could go into my contacts. I could look at John Doe here. I could select John Doe. I could say add a tag. I could type in test right here because that's our automation and it's going to be demo. And I could click add. And now John has been added. Okay. If we look at his information here, you're going to see that he is added to a workflow. It's loading up right now. Okay. Shows us our past one. Okay. Now, if I go into our automations, I might have applied the wrong one. Nope. There he is. He's sitting here. He's waiting 2 minutes and he's going to get his message in 2 minutes. That's how it works, guys. That's how we use automations just to create a simple daily text message. If you want to, you can use daily, monthly, weekly. And as we go further, I'm going to show you how to do it based on people's replies. I'm going to show you how to do this with emails. I'm going to show you all the other things you can do inside of a workflow, like add a tag to remember, add a notification to you when somebody finishes a workflow so that you'll know what to do next, how to create workflows based on appointments so that people, you can send reminders to people who set up calendars. We're going to do all that as we teach you how to set up your appointments and those things in future tutorials. So hopefully this is helpful for you. You get a taste of what is possible when you're utilizing all that you have inside of Social Connector. We'll see you on the next training. Talk to you soon.